Maybe I should ask people. Hello, everyone. We will start in just a few minutes. Just waiting for people to connect from the waiting room. Happy to have so many of you here today on a Saturday. True dedication for the topics to show up on the weekend like this. So we really appreciate it. And we're looking forward to this session today with all the great presentations that we'll be having. We'll wait just a minute before we start. Okay, so we have some people connecting, but I'll just make the best use of our time on this Saturday and get us started. So I want to say a warm welcome to all of you to the second session of the ENLIGHT Global Dialogue. ENLIGHT is a European alliance consisting of 9 universities. We're testing new activities within education, research, and innovation. And these 9 universities are from all across Europe: Ireland, Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, France, Sweden, Spain, Slovakia, and Estonia. And we're currently in Estonia, me and Apurva, who are hosting the session today. We're both student representatives from the ENLIGHT Student Network, and we're currently here for our ENLIGHT Student Network conference. So happy to be joining you from Tartu, which is the Estonian University in ENLIGHT. Before we go on, I just want to remind all of you that this session is recorded and it will be published on the ENLIGHT YouTube channel after the session. So you can also share it with your friends who are not able to join us today as well. And these events, the Global Dialogues, they're in particular about highlighting sustainability issues around the world, to share experiences and methodologies for creating sustainability projects. And one of the projects who are presenting on one of these free sessions will also be awarded the ENLIGHT Global Citizen Award. And the winner will be announced on the ENLIGHT website after the final session, which is on February 7th. During this session today, we will hear from 4 different students' organizations coming from China, Ireland, Belgium, and Sweden. They will all be presenting on projects promoting sustainability in their communities and campuses. After we've gotten the presentations from all of the groups, we will start the panel discussion between participants and you guys in the audience. So feel free to post questions in the chat as the presentations are happening, and we'll make sure to keep track of those and save them for the end. But before we jump right into the presentations, I will just say a few words on the ENLIGHT Student Network that me and Apurva are a part of. The Student Network gathers student representatives coming from all ENLIGHT universities. And we have the aim of representing all of our students, which is a massive task. There's many of us. And we want to create a truly international community, gathering all of us. And if you've not heard about us yet, you can go into the link that Apurva shared in the chat to see all of the contact details for social media, etc. Okay, so with that said, we can get right into the event. We'll go one presentation at a time, and some of the groups will share videos, others will do a presentation or a mix of both. And we'll start with project number 1, which is energy efficient pulse-driven intelligent streetlights by students from Tsinghua University in China. I believe we had Kawai with us representing that project. So I'll give the floor over to you and you'll present for us all. Good luck.
Thank you. Okay, could you see my screen?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Good morning, good evening. Hi, everyone. Greetings from Macau. My name is Kafi, and we are undergraduate students from Tsinghua University. Today, I would like to pitch one of my clips product called Intelligent Street Lamp. To give context, this product takes inspiration from the smart city by incorporation the AIoT and 5G infrastructure to provide a range of services and alerts to the general public. So we wish to introduce this product into the street lighting market as the advancement and digitalization to society. Ordinary street lamps could be considered to perform a bare minimum task for providing light. So we know they provide for security and reliability for pedestrian and road users due to unplanned power outage, the dysfunctional bulbs. So despite the sole function of illumination, the bearing construction cost of these amenities are not cost-friendly, which they spends with difficulties of maintenance and operation being and it expands. Therefore, to eliminate the previous mentioned setbacks, intelligent lamp brings added value to street lamps by using a bus LED module as its key feature, as a spider and cost effective. So we also further analysis in areas of regular usage, whereby the illuminance and degree equalization and its other specific recorded. And though managed to reach the American national standards. So we could then take a look at the past LED standing among other lamp types and that are currently being used in the market. While the key difference is the device life, while keeping a low electricity consumption figure. So for the IT component that this product uses the Internet of Things and cloud computing to serve out this following devices to those and is synchronicity. So with some key features for natural disasters and emergency alert. And lastly, our sustainability impact. The portal incorporates low carbon scheduling for flexibility and stability, and automatic brightness adjustments extends the light assembly to reduce frequent and discarded maintenance while improving energy efficiency for bigger economic benefits. So we are very delighted to say we implemented certain sustainable development goals by coming up with an energy linkage strategy that maximize the use that data information base to perform intelligent upgrade like a good plug and play. We also wish to make it marketable for consumption, and for the product we are showcasing, our innovation is based on the saving in material, time, and power. So we are very happy to present our proposal to this ENLIGHT global dialogue. I hope let's work together and brainstorm. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Such informative presentation in such short time. And we'll make sure to ask you some questions on your presentation and your project in the discussion after all of the presentations. So thank you so much.
Sure, and I would like to share the whole PPT slide to our meeting room. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Because it's shorter version. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So moving over to project number 2, which is the Galway Environmental Festival, hosted by students from the Energy Society at the University of Galway. So I will give the floor over to the team from Galway.
Super, thank you so much. Can you see that okay?
Yeah, just make sure to have it in presentation mode.
Yeah, super. So first of all, thank you so much for letting me talk here today. I'm very excited to share information about our Galway Environmental Festival, which we, the NUIG Energy Society, now University of Galway Energy Society, held last April with a lot of help from a local environmental group of volunteers, the Tsinghua park wardens who protect the parks of Galway City. as well as funding from TUA, SSE Renewables, and LA Waters. And just to give a bit of background about where the idea for this festival came from, was actually from an event our group put on for multiple years called the Galway Energy Summit. And the last one was held in 2019 when some of us were just joining the society. And it was a great event where we got to hear about work being done about sustainability and energy innovations. However, because there was a lot of industry sponsorship, we had to give industry a lot of sort of podiums to talk about what a great job they were doing at saving the world. And we just felt it was a bit hypocritical sometimes because it was like car companies and whatnot going up there and saying they're making such a difference. And while the changes they're making might be appreciated, we thought it would be maybe even more impactful to give, to highlight the more grassroots organizations that are often just made up of our own community members from Galway City or from the university or from local schools, who are working tirelessly to promote sustainability and protect the green and blue spaces of Galway, often for free, just spending their own time in order to do so. And we also felt that there was this rising climate anxiety, especially amongst our peers on the university campus, where people felt inundated with all of this information about the climate crisis, and the world is on fire all around us. What can we do? And so we wanted to give those people an opportunity to talk to the groups who are doing stuff and to get involved. So in this way, the festival not only acted as a method for the grassroots organizations to promote themselves and make themselves more visible and show people that there is work being done in their own communities, but also for people to get then involved. So our overall goals, excuse me, were to connect the climate concerned Galwegians with community groups fighting climate change and protecting nature, as well as to bring students and community members together to learn and get involved together in the setting of Galway's Forest Park. And this picture was just taken the morning of the event, but I just thought I could give a bit of background about the Forest Park and why we chose this location. So 20 years ago, plus or minus a few years, where the forest stands now was actually just open cow pasture. It was just open fields, but the city council bought it, and hundreds of citizens of Galway came out and planted thousands of trees that now make up the forest that really is the lungs of Galway, and it has allowed there to be this massive park kind of taking up places as the city has expanded. So we thought this was a perfect setting for our festival, where we're trying to connect members of the city and of the university with their own community and the green and blue spaces and how to get involved with that. So here I just have a few photos of setting up for the festival. And we had a great group of very dedicated volunteers who were so great and just enthusiastic and happy to help rain or shine. And then we also had some musicians who were playing traditional Irish music throughout the festival in the background, and they were all from Galway, and it just really helped liven up the atmosphere. And here I've just listed the different groups that were involved in the festival. So they all had a stall where they would have some sort of interactive component where they shared with the public what they were doing, what they kind of do day to day, but also what their overall ethos is. And they were able to share that in a fun way, but also to try to recruit people if attendees were interested. And here are just some of the photos. A lot of these are with the different school groups that came. But we see like leave no trace in the top left is talking about how long it takes different materials, including different types of food, to decompose and why we shouldn't leave that behind, and what we can do about that if we see litter, and just really in a fun, interactive kind of way. And then at the bottom, we have pictures with Tony from Seascapes, who was talking about the natural biodiversity along the coastline of Galway, what we can do to protect it and how we can be responsible viewers and partakers in nature. And then in the top right, we actually have a member of the city council who kind of made a guest appearance with a group that she does volunteer with, the Galway Environmental Network, talking about what they do, but also kind of thanking all the attendees for coming, because if it wasn't for them and people who care, then none of this work would really get done because it is so volunteer based. And then we had a great sort of panel discussion kind of going on with the University of Galway Biodiversity Department. And so we got to learn about the different animals and plants that live in our city, and how we need to ensure that we protect their habitats, as well as we took a sample from the local river to assess what critters were living in it and the health of our waterways. And so just the key metrics and takeaways is that we had about 150 people attend over the few hours the festival was on, and that included people from the college, from local schools, and from the community. And we had 4 primary school classes join us, and they were from 2 different schools. And we had 8 environmental groups set up at different stalls, as well as one that was taking people on a tour through the park. So looking forward, we hope to continue collaborating with these environmental groups and to expand our networks as well, to collaborate with even more. And we'd love to hold a similar event this summer and try to make it an annual thing. But we did learn that, April can rain a bit more. So we're going to try to push it into the summer just to ensure that we have better weather. But we also want to try to expand our outreach, and I'd love to hear your guys' feedback on that and ideas for maybe how we could do that. We did push it through social media and our email networks and word of mouth, and we paid for promotions online. But we do want to continue to gain momentum here and expand it even more. And then we hope to continue with our environmental work ourselves. So thank you so much for your time, and I'm happy to take questions, I guess, later at the end. But thanks so much.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you for your presentation, and a great way of using people's climate anxiety, which is so common, unfortunately, especially in our generations and the generations coming after us. So a nice way of bringing them together and enabling them to kind of use the anxiety in a good way. Okay, so we'll bring up all the questions in the end, so make sure to bring them up in the chat if anything pops into your head. Meanwhile, we'll go over to project number 3 for this session, which is Plant Forest by students from the University of Gent, Belgium, and I believe they will show us a video. So the screen is yours.
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Arne, and together with some fellow students, we turned parking spots from our campus into a green space. And to explain the process that we went through, we will show you a video that my friend Robbe made.
We can see your screen. Maybe you can put it in full screen. And then we hope that the audio works.
Hello everyone, I'm going to present to you a greening project which we did with a group of 6 students at the TU Gent. We turned 4 parking zones into green spots. We started this in 2021 with Kai, Arne, Helena, Jody, Robbe and Michiel in collaboration with the Green Office Gent and Jan de Donker. At first we had big dreams. We wanted to plant a forest, but of course you need to have land on which you plant the forest, and for that you need money, which we as students don't have. So we started investigating what we could do with a limited amount of money with a maximum amount of positive energy. So we asked our professor for some advice, and he suggested that we can start small on our own campus with a greening project. Because we have way too many parking lots on the campus and in general in our city. This takes in place of valuable green zones, public space, housing, etc. On these pictures you can see some parking and container zones of our campus, but there is a bigger parking zone nearby that, and it's never fully occupied. So the cars parked on the pictures could easily move to the bigger parking. We then tried to persuade the people who are responsible of our campus that it was necessary to take away some parking lots and turn them into green spots. But this took a while, meeting after meeting. But eventually our proposal was accepted. We got the freedom to choose how and what we wanted to do. Our focus points of the garden became: 1, creating an all-in eat and sleep resort for bees, butterflies and birds. 2, making a relaxation area and a playground in natural surroundings for students and staff, focusing on the health benefits that nature can offer to people. For the all-in resort, we carefully selected endemic species with a high nectar value, and we built bee hotels for above ground as well as underground nesting bees, added some dead wood and bushes with berries for birds. For the second focus point, we chose to have a swing, which was built on the campus itself by a professor. And here you can see the result. It's a small place where life can flourish. But imagine what we could do if we did this on a bigger scale in our cities. And my final message would be that we should trust students and their potential much more. I think a lot of schools are underestimating what students can do.
Yes, thank you for your attention. I hope the video was clear. Yeah, if there's any more questions about it, you can ask later. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Great video. Had us laughing a few times, and also loved the calm energy. It was really nice and such a great project as well. We'll take all the questions in the second half of the session. And now we have the final presentation coming up, which is the sanitation concept for Karagwe schools by students from Engineers Without Borders in Uppsala University in Sweden. So I'll give the floor over to you guys.
Hi, so yeah, we are from the local group in Uppsala from the organization Engineers Without Borders, and we'll present through a video today by our vice group leader Moa, who unfortunately couldn't be here today. And then we'll be happy to share and answer any questions. So I hope this works.
Looks good. Maybe you can put it in full screen as well.
Yeah, of course. And I hope the sound works too.
We try and see.
Yes.
Hello everyone, my name is Moa.
We can hear it.
I'm presenting the project Sanitation concept for Karagwe schools together with Engineers Without Borders Sweden. We all know that hygiene is vital for health, but access to quality toilets is also a big social issue. In many communities, lack of proper bathrooms has been shown to discourage students from attending school, especially girls that's menstruating. Our research has shown that girls in some areas can miss up to 5 days of school each month, meaning no access to a toilet apart from spreading diseases also leads to gender inequality. It was on the basis of this problem that the project Sanitation concept for Karagwe schools started. It is attempting to solve 3 of the Sustainable Development Goals: gender equality, quality education, and clean water and sanitation. In tight collaboration with the organization Mavuno in Tanzania and the company Sandvik, a project team of students from many different educational backgrounds developed a prototype. This prototype was a sustainable, user-friendly toilet to be placed at a school in Karagwe. To make sure the solution would be the right fit for the area, the project team made a field trip to the area and conducted surveys with the pupils of the school. And they also remained in was a type of urine diverting dry toilet with a composting function. These type of toilets are common in areas where water access is limited, and its user interface directly separates urine and feces to be treated in separate chambers. The benefits of this type of toilets are that they use little to no water, they have a long lifespan and have a low operation and maintenance cost. In the future, the hope is to also be able to use the waste for fertilization. And even though the usage of the toilet required some teaching, the hope for the project was that it would be an upgrade from the single pit latrines that they are using today, and they can easily be described as a hole in the ground. One of the more important additions to the prototype was a menstrual hygiene room where girls could change their sanitation pad in a private, hygienic environment. Since the service conducted had shown that most girls never changed their sanitation pads at school. And the benefits of the project will hopefully be that more toilets are implemented in not only this school but others around it, to be able to make it a more comfortable situation for students to attend school and for them to feel comfortable to go even if they are, for example, menstruating. And this would lead to them not missing any important time in school or any important time with their fellow classmates. This is only one of many Engineers Without Borders projects, but it's a perfect example of what students can actually achieve even during their study time. I hope this was very inspirational for you guys. Thank you very much.
Yes, so thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. It's always like she was here when we had it as a presentation.
Exactly.
Like this. So thank you so much. And thank you, Cecilia, for being here as well. So now we'll move on to the second part of the session, which will be the general discussion. So basically, we will go through the teams as they presented and give them one question each. So we'll go for the first round, and Apurva will be hosting that. And then we'll continue with the questions we had. So we've received some in the chat, and we also received some from the judging panel in advance. So we'll make sure to try to mix it up as good as we can. But over to Apurva.
Thank you all, and it was lovely presentations and very interesting projects. And so the first question is for the project from Shanghai University, China, on the energy efficient plus driven intelligent streetlights. So where did your inspiration come from, and what were the challenges that you faced while trying to, in the process of overcoming or in the process of formation of this project? Over to you to answer.
Yes, thank you, judges. Based on the PPT slide that is more completely that I shared to our data statistics for our project, and then you could see as we already make it marketable in China. Hello, could you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We just lost you for a second. I think the video froze, but we can still get your audio.
Yeah, and then we try to invent by using a plus LED module as its key feature, and it performs more well than the ordinary LED light, and also
you're breaking up a bit. Now you're back.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't know why soon.
No worries. The internet is not your fault.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, so we could have take a look at the plus LED standing among with the other lamp type that are currently being used in the market, where the key difference is mostly focused on the surface life and while keeping a low electricity consumption figure. And yeah, it's more likely to let us to know which perform well. And also for the new 5G era is coming, we know how to say, it's a very good point for us to know a smart, sustainable city is innovative because it uses ICTs to improve people's quality of life and also make the urban operations and services more efficient. What we are going to do is to boost its competitiveness and while ensuring that it meets the economic, social, environmental, and cultural needs for present and future generation. So if you want to ask, is a smart city a sustainable city? I would like to say a smart city is where there is effective integration of physical, digital, and human systems in the built environmental to deliver a sustainable, more prosperous and inclusive future for the citizens. So what we are going to do is to provide this one, and and try to contribute to the society. Yeah.
Thank you. That was a very interesting answer. Moving on to the second project from Galway. This is a question from the judging panel. Since you said that you work with students and different community groups, I would like to know what do you hope in terms of like the impact on these community groups? And the second part of the question is, because there are external actors involved in your project, what do you have some help or sponsorship from these community groups? Over to you.
Super. Thanks very much for the questions. So I guess for the first one, what do I hope for all the groups to get out of it? As I mentioned in the talk, I do hope to give them a platform to share the work that they do every day to make a difference in our community and in our world, because when you add it all up, it really does make a difference. And I want them to have a chance to showcase their work and try to recruit new members, as well as I mentioned, get the community members to kind of mitigate their climate anxiety, or if they were already interested and kind of getting involved in this stuff, this is a chance to see which group maybe aligns with what they're most interested in. As Galway is a university town, we constantly have a flow of new people coming in and people leaving. So sometimes I think that it can be hard to kind of keep up membership on things. So it's just a good way to really help these groups stay alive and keep doing the work they're doing. And something else that I hadn't mentioned during the talk is that there's a lot of individual groups that I think have very similar ethoses and do similar work, but maybe there's not a lot of cross communication and collaboration just because communication can be hard. So I thought this would be a good way for those groups to also talk to one another and sort of like see if they want to make something come out of this, make their own events, or if they realize they have something they can collaborate on, then this was an opportunity for that, to make that happen. And then the second question about sponsorship, right, was, yes, we were so fortunate to be able to get sponsorship from 3 external groups. So SSE Renewables, which is working on like making wind turbines and stuff in our communities. LA Waters, which works on preserving the water quality and the biodiversity of the waterways in Galway and the surrounding area, but also on like promoting awareness and education about this. They also have grants for that similar kind of thing where you're promoting awareness about environmental work. And then Tsinghua, which we are just very fortunate to know the person who's in charge of that very well. And we have always been volunteering at the same things, it seems like. So we kind of got to know each other very well. And that's why they were very interested in helping us for this event. And then of course, the University of Galway gave us some help as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for your answer. And I think there are more questions for you in the chat. We'll take that in round 2. Now, I would like to ask the students from the University of Gent regarding their project. My question would be that since your project is centered on the parking spaces of the university, how do you think this be implemented somewhere else? And would you be willing to support students inspired by your project to get started, and how would you go about it? So over to you all.
Yeah, we definitely think that it's possible on many more spaces, and in the University of Gent, it's already happening on more spaces. More parking lots are disappearing, but of course it's a kind of slow process. And maybe for your second question, of course we want to help other students to do the same thing, but we think it's quite a kind of simple methodology to get there. It's like first you have to get an idea of what you want to do and what place you want to break out, so to say. And then you have to contact people who are kind of in charge, but you also have to have some allies with you to promote the project. And then you kind of hope for people to listen to you, and like I said, meeting after meeting, discussing this. And once that is finished, you can start with a project on your own.
Yeah, that was a very interesting answer, and I think I do see a lot of potential and hope for this project. Moving on to the group which works on the sanitation concept from Uppsala University. I had a question about how many students were exposed with this project at your university, and what were the efforts made to engage and involve more students in this project. So the students, please.
The project team for the project was a group of students from many different universities. So there was one person from our university, but the project was presented for around 45 students and also shared on our website and so on. And what was your second question? Sorry.
What were the efforts that were made for engaging more students, like apart from the university, or do you see like a future to your project moving across other universities?
So our main effort was just to kind of spread awareness about the project and what you can actually engage in, that you can be able to create something with the help from others and from our organization as well. So we try to present the project for more students and share it on all our social channels and so on.
Yeah, thank you so much to everybody for your answers. Now, since we have a lot of questions on the chat, I would start asking again in the order of the presentation. So the first question is for Kawai. The question is from Jonathan, where he wants to know where do you see your project in the future, and what are the chances to find funding to scale it up? So Kawai, please.
You're muted.
Okay, sorry. So as I mentioned, for the future, because I would like to say a smart city help us to lead a sustainable life. It definitely does. And for us, we know smart city plays an essential role in this development. So the development direction of this is based, among other factors, on a development criteria set by the various technology, and we try to developing on 5G infrastructure and try to give more good performance on the lighting for the city. Yeah, that is our future. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, since we have a lot of questions for the Galway team, we would just club it and yeah, then Hannah can try to answer it. So a question about engaging with local schools and youth groups on Environmental Festival. How did you engage with them? And are there any plans to widen this outreach activity? Have you any advice to other student groups on how to engage with external stakeholders in the city? And also, since your project relies so much on community partnership and engagement, what is your experience and how do you create the interest for the community groups? So.
Super, yeah. Thanks for the questions, everybody. If it's okay, I might kind of work backwards through them. So with how to actually, like, for us, how we actually engage different groups, we kind of just followed the motto that it never hurts to ask. So what we did was we sat down and did a Google search of like all the environmental groups in Galway, as well as the region, or even across Ireland, and just sent emails, called people, and because a lot of these groups are kind of just run by like everyday people, you know, it's just people who are enthusiastic about what they do. We found that they were actually more than happy to get involved. It was kind of like people were happy to meet somebody else, you know, who shared their enthusiasm about this stuff. So about recruiting the groups, we were very lucky in the sense that we had a lot of positive feedback and people were really interested in getting involved. As far as like stakeholders in the city and getting funding from them or just getting them involved, I think we might also have gotten lucky, but there is this sort of hunger at the moment to do something about climate change or to promote sustainability or to fund projects that are. So a lot of local kind of companies, like small groups, not-for-profits, as well as just regular industry companies, do have money set aside for these kind of events. So I would just encourage people, once again, never hurts to ask, reach out to companies or groups that you think might be able to help, or even if they just want to partner up and like give you feedback or ideas, things that could help with planning these kind of events. And then as far as like getting local groups and kind of cementing and expanding the connections that we already have, I guess I have two answers to that. So something that I have also noticed is, at least in Galway, there's sort of the same group of people who go to like every environmental event or like initiative or whatever, but they're all part of other groups. And so that was like a way that we were able to spread the word and kind of form connections with other groups, is through the people that you just meet. And yeah, I really can't emphasize enough how important it is just to talk to people and form connections, because that's how we got the school groups. Is one of the people who we often volunteer with, he works with the schools, so he was able to get people involved, and we just hope to kind of keep following that model and continuing that momentum, because once you kind of have done it once and interacted with some groups, the word gets out, people know what it looks like, maybe more schools will get involved, and yeah, so that's our goal, is to kind of keep building on that. And I think I answered everything, hopefully.
Yeah, great job.
Yeah, and again, I see a lot of potential in your project. So we have a possibility, after asking the questions from the group chat to the students from Gent and Uppsala, we would like to give the floor to the student groups amongst themselves to ask questions for each other. So if you can think about questions, it would be really interesting to hear your perspectives on these issues and topics. Yeah, so moving on to a student from Gent. There are 3 questions and I will try to club them together. Again, about how are your plans for expanding the Plant Forest project on your campus? And is there a process that you can get support from the university for this initiative? And what was the magic trick that you used to persuade people to let go of the parking spaces, as they are quite necessary spaces? And are there any plans for long-term upkeep of this space, and, like, for example, funding or responsibilities? So over to the students from Gent.
Well, of course, there's no magic trick, but I think it's important to really show people what's possible with a place like a parking spot, such a small place, that it has so much potential, and then that you can do so much with such a small space. And we hope with our projects, of course, we can also influence people like fellow students, but also other workers or I don't know, to really think different about places. Can you hear me? Yeah. So yeah, in that way, we want to boost people to really think about how can I use this space the best, and how can I do things differently with spaces, like with the parking spots. Of course, you can look at alternatives. You can park somewhere else. You can go by bike. Of course, that's better. And yeah, in that way you can use places better, and I think that's the most important thing. I don't know if there's more questions.
Maybe I can answer the plans that are upcoming. So it wasn't actually the first parking lot that disappeared. With the Green Office Gent, we did some more, and we see that now the work of the students, for example, that we did, is going to the higher level, to the University of Gent itself, and the staff members who are doing those projects themselves on a bigger scale. So that's very nice to see that there are bigger projects upcoming and already being done, and they are quite similar. So yes, now we get support from the university, but at first it was, of course, like really pushing, sometimes against people of the university. And then the last question of the long-term upkeep of the space. So we do a little expansion this upcoming year of the space, and the managing of the space is done by the green manager of the UGent, and we help if we can and want to. So the funding responsibilities, I think it's about the managing, or it's about the project. I don't know, maybe Jonathan?
So that question was more about how do you make sure that that the space is still running in a couple of years or even longer? Who's going to take care of that space when you, for example, leave as a student from the university and beyond that?
Yeah, so we have the green manager of the UGent who manages the place, and he gets funding of the university. But we also have the Green Office Gent, it's the sustainability office, who has volunteers and students working for them. And they are always checking if everything is going okay with the projects that are going on, but also that are already finished. So yeah.
Yeah, maybe in addition, we also let an event take place last spring. to celebrate the new green space on our campus. And in that way, we also let the students of our campus really get in touch with the new place. And we hope that like the place will be useful in for a longer time with students, like interacting there and really use the space. So it's also in the long term, a great benefit to the campus, and in that way also maintained. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Moving on, since we are coming closer to the end. So the questions for Uppsala students are, were there any challenges that you encountered while engaging the project locally? And is there like any follow-up in the execution of the project? How do you make the necessary maintenance or repairs in the execution process? And do you know whether the installation is functioning well? And the next question was, so thank you.
That's you.
So in all of our projects, we always try to collaborate with the local organization and also do a lot of research on the community that we're entering to really make sure that our solution is the right fit for them as well. So in this project, we also made sure that they wanted the change and that we came up with the solution for the problem together. So thereby we could eliminate any challenges of getting the community involved, since they were involved already from the beginning. And in all of our projects, we also try to do follow-ups, but one very important thing is that they should be able to manage everything themselves. So the toilet was built with local materials to make sure that they could do the repairs, and we also have workshops and try to learn teach them about the solution from the beginning so that they are able to manage it themselves. And thereby, we don't need to be there anymore after the solution is implemented.
Now we would leave the open floor up for discussion amongst the groups if they have any questions for each other. Does anyone have questions? If not, then Julia has some questions.
I have them stacked up for sure, but we want to allow some discussion between the groups. And I saw that Hannah shared some social media details as well, and that's highly encouraged for you to keep in contact after this. And Jonathan also said that you can email him and we can distribute the contact details after. Kawi, I can see you're unmuted. Go ahead.
Hi. Because I want to explain more for my future, because for the project. Yeah, is it allowed to share?
Go ahead. Yeah.
So for as mentioned before, the intelligent streetlight solves this proposed mainly by analyzing and comparing pedestrian, right, that are enclosed the proximity to traffic flow and providing recommendation for optimize route planning along with other necessary updates and information provided by the streetlight integrated sensors, and also we're trying to do some measure instruments mentioned above. So the main feature of our project down the pipeline, the intelligent streetlight wishes to include more features and functions that can assist the daily life of the society as the era that 5G, that are upcoming, it still faces high speed and the low delay, and needs to set up a wide base station to improve the signal coverage. So the micro base station of intelligent streetlight will play very indispensable role. Though the basis of 5G, we know the intelligent street lamp can connect with other smart city devices. Yeah, what I mean is to do further promoting for the development of the smart cities. Yeah, and On the other hand, under the AIoT technology, the intelligent streetlight collects a large amount of data, continuously analysis, and learns those we are trying to improve the product iteration. That is our main mission and most purpose. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. We got a really great question that I think I will just go around the table and ask all the groups. It was from Sepide regarding your educational backgrounds. And for like Engineers Without Borders, I assume you're all engineer students, right? But it will be fun just to hear if it's a diversity, if it's a multidisciplinary, or how you're working. So it can be a really short answer, just yes or no, or just stating the like educational backgrounds of the people in the team. And I'll go first with you, Kawi. The students in your group, are you all from the same educational background?
Yeah, we are all from Tsinghua University, and yeah, I think one of the member in my team is in our meeting room who called Brenda. Yeah, who is come from Fiji. Yeah. And we are also learning the electrical engineering. And another student in our team is learning the economic management and also the automatic. They are in my team. So it's a good interaction between the economic to learn about the market and also some electronic major students here. Yes.
That's awesome. Great mix. What about the Galway team?
Yeah, so great question. Actually, I hadn't thought of that. But yeah, I think our background is so varied, but I think that it actually helped in the development of the festival because we had to like think of new things outside the box to get people engaged. But yeah, we have people from like environmental science, biomedical engineering, energy engineering, business. We have somebody who does creative writing. We have digital studies, like digital media students. So that actually really helped us because I'm an engineer. So if you ask me how to market something, I don't know, but we had people who were like good at that stuff. And then also we have people from all around the world on our team. So that also helped, I think, because people have different experiences from different places they could bring.
Yeah, nice to hear. Climate change affects us all, right? So we need everyone from all the backgrounds. So that's great to hear. What about the Plant Forest team from the Ghent University?
Yes, so like I said, we're a group of friends, and we all study in the green sector. I myself am a bioengineer, but Robbe studies biomanagement, and there's also other friends who study biology or also biosciences. So it's like different educations, but yeah, the same interests, and of course, yeah, our bond that makes it stronger. So
yeah, nice to hear. Imagine if all friendship groups would do a project like this. Hey, it would be successful. But happy to hear that's how you use your like free time to do projects like this. It's great. And finally, the Uppsala team. So I guess you're all engineers, but maybe you have some different like specifications or niches, or how does it look?
Yeah, so we're all engineers, obviously, but we have a few in environmental engineering, a few in energy systems, while I'm in IT, so we have a nice mix.
Nice to hear. Thank you to everyone. We will wrap up the session now, right?
So thank you to all the presenters. Really very interesting discussion. So the next Global Dialogue discussion is on the 7th of February at 19 hours CT. Then we will meet student organizations, 2 projects from Galway, a project from Belgium, and Gent, and
no, Canada and Mexico City.
Yeah,
it's a wide mix. Hard to keep track of them all.
So hope to see you all for the next session, and thank you again. Bye.
Great work.
Thank you.